All right, so I'm going to go through the study guide you all were assigned today. Just know that the questions may be in a different order than what I have, but they are the same questions and they have the same answers. Now, looking at the first problem, it says, which of the following is sometimes true? So sometimes is very important. Okay, so if we read through, all integers are rational numbers. Well, maybe. So I did add in the picture that you have in your notebook of the real number system. So are all of your integers rational? So is it sometimes true or is that always true? Let's read the other ones just to have a clearer understanding. So all natural numbers are rational. So here's your natural numbers here, which it is within the rational. So that actually is always true because it's within the whole rational shape. Now, all rational numbers are irrational. So here's your rational numbers, and here's your irrational numbers. Is that ever true? Irrational numbers are in their own separate little area. Okay, so then we read the last one, and it says all whole numbers are also natural. So all whole numbers are natural. Now notice, is that whole big whole circle inside the natural number? No, it is sometimes true. So some of these whole numbers, which are, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, are in the natural. So the answer you would have wanted to pick would be answer choice D, that says all whole numbers are also natural numbers. That is sometimes true. Okay, now looking on the next problem, it says click and drag. So yeah, this one was a little tricky, figuring out how to drag your numbers in which order to put them, but let's give it a look. Ascending means least to greatest. The first thing I would have done was converted my numbers so they were all decimals. So I do the negative square root of 13. When I do that, it gives me negative 3.605 and some other numbers. Okay, that's enough to write. Make sure you're using the Desmos calculator or your own calculator. Next one, negative 17 over 5. When I divide that, it gives me negative 3.4. Okay, now I want least to greatest, and I'm on the negative side, so I'm on the negative numbers. I want to go through, when I go through, I'm looking for the larger value to be the smallest on the negative side. Now they all start with a 3, a negative 3 as a whole number, so I'm going to go to the first digit after the decimal. So I have a 5 here, 6 here, and a 4 here. Well, just right there, if I'm looking for the largest number on the negative side to be the smallest, this is going to come first. Then between the 4, 5, and 5, now I look at just the 5s. This one is a 4, and there's no number after this 5 down here, but it is repeating, so hopefully you know it's another 5. So now between the 4 here and the 5 here, the 5 is larger, so the larger number on the negative side is smallest. So that would be 2, and then that would be the third one, and then this would be the fourth one. So that would be the order you would have wanted to put those in. Okay, next one. What is the approximate value of the square root of 177? Now, you don't need to guess. Use your calculator. Square root of 177 is going to give you 13.304. Always go out to at least 3 numbers just in case they try to trick you with the rounding. So we went to the nearest tens place. This is the tens place. So B is your answer. Continuing on. Next one. So true or false? Integers are always whole numbers. Now, integers are always whole numbers. If I go back to that picture that I had over here, are my integers So here are my integers. Are they always whole numbers? No. The answer is no, so that's going to be false. Now, if you were to change that, one thing you could write would be that whole numbers are always integers, or maybe some integers are whole numbers, but that was false. So if you picked false, good. Then I will look more closely at your adjusted statement. Okay, next one. Which of the following correctly writes the number 1,850,000,000 in scientific notation? Well, again, I'm trying to narrow down my answer choices, and I see this is greater than 1 number, so this negative exponent here is out of the question. The other part I'm going to look at is my first factor. Hopefully I know my first factor is supposed to be a number between 1 and 10. Well, this one says 185. That's not between 1 and 10. This one says 18.5. That is not between 1 and 10. But this one says 1.85. And if I think of money, that's $1.85, which is between $1 and $10. So that would be the answer I want to pick. All right, moving along. Next, I did go over something like this in the class time, the Zoom time. Here, Michelle's brother is taking chemistry, is learning about the weights of protons and electrons. The measure of an electron is 9.1094 times 10 to the negative 31. And the measure of a proton is 1.6726 times 10 to the negative 27. Which symbol makes the statement true? So I did tell you, you don't have to convert this into standard form. You could just look at the second factor part that has the base 10. So they both have a base 10. Now, if you just look at the exponent on each, well, what symbol would go here? Comparing negative 31 and negative 27, on the negative numbers, the larger the negative absolute value, the smaller it actually is. So we want the less than. And remember, less than is that smushed L, and is like less than. Okay, so that would be the answer you want to pick there, the less than symbol. Now over here, explain in your own words why the square root of 64 is equal to 8 and the square root of 121 is equal to 11. Well, square root is the opposite of squaring a number. So if you think, okay, I have the square root of 64, what number times itself equals 64? And it comes out to be 8 times 8. And the short way of writing 8 times 8 is 8 squared. So the square root of 64 is equal to 8. Okay, so then same thing, square root of 121. Well, what number times itself is equal to 121? And that's going to give you 11. There's many different ways you can write that explanation, so I will look through that. Okay, moving along, we have a couple more. Now it says here, which of the following set of numbers would appear first when they were ordered in descending order? Okay, so we want to know which one appears first and in descending order. So we're going to go greatest to least. All right, first thing I want to do is convert my numbers. Hopefully you know pi is 3.14. And so if you put that in the calculator, 3.14 divided by 8 comes out to approximately 0.3925 and some other numbers. Okay, 20%, change that to a decimal. You can divide by 100. Percents are always out of 100. That's going to turn into 0.2, or if you want to put the 20, you can. And 1/4 as a decimal, divide 1 divided by 4, and that equals 0.25. Okay, so now I have all my numbers in decimal form. So, which number is going to appear first when I put them in descending order? Well, I want the greatest number. Looking at the first number after the decimal place, because none of them have a number before the decimal. So looking at those, I want the greater numbers. So this is no good, no good. So between the remaining two, they both have 3s, so I need to look at the next digit. So that one has a 9. This one has nothing right there, but there is a repeating symbol up above. So that would be a 3. So between the 9 and the 3, which one is greater? The 9 is, so A would be your answer. Moving on to the last 2 questions. So, which 2 consecutive integers does the square root of 200 lie? Well, that's not a perfect square like before, square root of 64 equaled 8 and square root of 121 equaled 11. So this one is going to be an uneven number, but type it in the calculator, and when you do so, it's going to give you about 14.14 and some other numbers after that. But that is enough to tell you that that is between 14 and 15. Okay? And the last one, which answer choice correctly writes the number 8.1 times 10 to the negative 3 in standard notation? So I'm looking at my exponent. My exponent is telling me that I'm going to have a 0 point something kind of number. So that's out and that's out. Now the decimal, or the decimal needs to be moved 3 times according to the exponent. So I'm going to go 1 place, 2, 3. So that means I'm going to put decimal with 2 zeros, 8, 1, and that would give me B. All right, that's the end.